The other objectionable aspect of the MOA is the removal from the Philippine public domain of the Bangsamoro homeland and vesting in the BJE exclusive ownership over its defined territory. As a consequence of that exclusive ownership over the ancestral domain, the BJE will exercise control and jurisdiction over all natural resources and potential sources of energy. Under our Constitution, what MILF claims as ancestral homeland is part of the public domain where all lands, waters, minerals, coal, petroleum, and other mineral oils, all sources of potential energy, and other natural resources are owned by the Filipino people, are owned by the state. Under the MOA, BGE is now the exclusive owner of all the natural resources within the Bangsamoro homeland. The BGE has also veto powers over decisions of the Philippine government over Philippine territorial waters consisting of our 200-mile economic zone. This has very serious implications, especially because there could be an overlap between the 200-mile economic zone claimed by both Malaysia and the Philippines. Finally, let us not forget that if the MOA-AD can lay the basis for an independent and sovereign Bangsamoro juridical entity, a demand can be validly made for a similar MOA-AD that can create a Cordillera juridical entity in northern Philippines with the same powers. This was privately admitted to me by no less than the head of the peace panel, our fellow panelist, Rodolfo Garcia, on August 15 during the MOA hearing in the Supreme Court. The wanton disregard of the Constitution in the MOA is beyond dispute. In fact, the MOA cites numerous agreements, laws, and international conventions, but deliberately omits any reference to the Philippine Constitution. It is argued that its provisions shall come to force only upon effecting the necessary changes in the legal framework, which the defenders of the MOA assert refers to the amendments to the Constitution. I can concede that if we are to achieve peace and stability in southern Philippines, we must be open to amending the Constitution. Indeed, the possibility of charter change opens the doors to a wide range of options to end the armed conflict. But I ask, will amending the Constitution, which will dismember our country by laying the basis for an independent and sovereign Bangsamoro state, bring peace, unity, and stability to our nation? Will an amendment that will lay the groundwork for a demand for a Cordillera independent state in northern Philippines bring peace and unity to our country? Will an amendment that will authorize BGE to disregard vested rights over private property bring peace and unity? Is the injustice addressed by committing another injustice? Are these amendments consistent with our national interest as one Filipino nation? To my mind, any peace agreement to succeed must first and foremost recognize the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of the Philippines. This is non-negotiable. Respect for our sovereignty and territorial integrity was the premise of the 1976 Tripoli Agreement. No agreement will have the support of our people unless based on these premises. Second, any agreement must recognize and respect vested rights. Yes, the Bangsamoro people may have been unjustly dispossessed of their ancestral land or parts of it, but is voiding title of the present owners over these lands the only way of correcting the injustice committed? Are we correcting injustice with another injustice? The important element is compensating those who were unjustly deprived of these lands or under ownership. Compensation need not necessarily mean voiding title to the present landowners. These are two basic principles which must form part of the common framework of any peace agreement. Otherwise, we cannot see how a peace pact can provide a long-lasting and comprehensive peace. Yes, I will now wind up. Peace negotiations demand patience, understanding, and most important, mutual respect. I have not lost hope as long as we do not forget that we are all Filipinos. With the Philippines as our only country, the end of the conflict will always be in sight. As I have said earlier, we cannot give up on peace. The MOA having been effectively jumped, I pray that the government and the MILF panels will find creative ways to defy the odds and make it back to the negotiation table. By then, I hope the government panel would have learned its lessons, embraced the principle of transparency, and conduct real consultations with all the stakeholders involved in this conflict. In the end, and by the grace of God, I am sure that we shall overcome and the lasting peace shall prevail in our land. Thank you very much.